If you've been following along, let's shift gears and talk about text functions. So why would you want to use a text function? Well, let's be honest. Somebody will send you, or sometimes you might inherit, garbage files. The text is just a hot mess, and what you have to do is clean it up so you can work with it. This is where text functions will come in handy. The good news is, for the most part, they're very easy to work with. They're very direct and very straightforward. In no particular order, let's take a look at some of the more commonly used text functions. So here is a list of our departments, and notice that the department is combined with somebody's name, their employee ID, and the city and state in which they live. To kick things off, let's say that we want to extract the last 4 digits of their employee ID number. The way we do that is to use something called the RIGH function. The RIGH function will look at your target cell and then count over and return X number of characters that you designate. In this case, it looks like we want Excel to count over 4 characters from the right and return what it finds. We can click here and type equal, right, open parentheses, click our target cell, type a comma, followed by the number 4, press enter, and there's the last 4 digits of their ID. From here, we can drag our formula down. There we go. That's about as complicated as the RIGH function gets. Moving on, let's take a look at the left function. The left function will look at our target cell and then return the amount of characters from the left that we want to see. In this case, let's say we want to separate our departments from our employee names. Let's use the left function to help with that and type out equal, left, open parentheses, click our target cell, type a comma, and in this case, it looks like we want 3 characters. So we'll type the number 3, press enter, copy it down, and there we go. That's about as complicated as the left function gets. So far, we've looked at the basic left and right functions, and you can make a case that knowing just those 2 functions will get you through your day. Yet every now and then, things can get a little funky. And by that we mean sometimes you want to extract data from the left or the right, but things aren't consistent. For example, here we have a list of our cities and our states, and let's say that we want to extract the city from the left-hand side. The problem is the cities aren't exactly the same length. So to solve this, we'll have to be a little creative and integrate something called the search function. Basically, the search function will do just that. It will search for the character that we're looking for. In this case, we're searching for the comma, and we want to see everything to the left of the comma. So believe it or not, to get this to work, the best thing to do is actually type out the function. So what I'll do is I'll type out the function first, and then I'll verbalize the thought process that Excel goes through. So we'll type out equal, left, open parentheses, click on our target cell, type a comma, type the word search, do an open parentheses, type an open quote, comma, quote, type another comma, click on our target cell again, do a close parentheses, then type -1, do a close parentheses, press enter, and there we go. Okay, admittedly, that's a little crazy. So what's going on here? We're saying, hey, Excel, starting from the left of the cell, we want you to search for the comma. And then when you find the comma, return everything to the left of the comma, -1. Now, where people get hung up is this whole -1 thing. What exactly is that? The reason we're doing that is because if we did not type in -1, Excel would show the city along with the comma. And clearly we don't want that. So when we type in -1, we're telling Excel to subtract out that comma. This is something you'll have to practice in real life if you choose to. Now, granted, there are other solutions available within Excel, of which we'll cover. And the only reason this lesson was included was in the event that you encounter an old spreadsheet that has been around for a long time and might actually have a formula like this integrated into it. I wanted to take the time to explain just exactly what is happening. And that's it for this lesson. If you've been following along, in the previous lesson, we talked to you about how to extract text from the left-hand side of a cell when the text is not consistent. And we use the left function combined with the search function to pull this off. In this lesson, we'll talk to you about how to extract text from the right-hand side of the cell when you're working with combined data. So if you enjoyed the previous lesson, we got a little something special for you on this one. You're going to love this. This is where things get a little muddied. In order to solve this, you'll need to use 3 things. You'll need to use the RIGH function, the search function, and something called the LEN function. Technically, the LEN will tell you the amount of characters in a string. And by itself, it doesn't do a whole heck of a lot. It's only when you nest it with other functions do you get some mileage out of it. So just like the previous example, it's actually easier to type this thing out by hand. So I'll do just that and then explain to you the thought process that Excel's going through. Here we go. So we'll type out equal, right, open parentheses, click on our target cell, type a comma, then type len, do an open parentheses, click on our target cell again, close those parentheses, type a minus, then we'll type search, do an open parentheses, open quote, type an underscore, close the quotes, type a comma, click on our target cell one more time, and then balance out our parentheses, press enter, and there we go. Oh, that is just obscenely ridiculous. What in the heck is going on here? Because that is just flat out painful. Here's how it works. Let me walk you through the thought process. And just know I'll explain it a few ways just so you can try to wrap your mind around what's going on here. The important thing to realize is that everything starts from the right-hand side. So we're asking Excel, starting from the right-hand side, look at the length of this cell. Then, while you're doing that, we want you to subtract out or don't show anything beyond the underscore. So for the sake of clarity, let's go one level deeper and get a little more technical just so you understand. So we're asking Excel, starting from the right, we want you to look at the total length of the cell. Once you get that length, subtract out everything up to the underscore and return everything from the right. Yeah, it's kind of goofy and definitely a roundabout way of doing things. The key takeaway is to understand the way Excel thinks. And yes, it might take you a little while to get your mind around this. Furthermore, there are easier ways to accomplish this in Excel, of which we will show you. Again, just to reiterate, the main reason this was included in this lesson is because we simply wanted you to be aware in the event that you inherit a spreadsheet that has had these type of formulas built into them. All right, that'll do it for this lesson, and we'll see you in the next one.